Good evening and welcome to Tinkering with Edkelar. For this episode I got an old school device. Quite literally, old and school related. What I got here is an overhead projector. These were the staple of classrooms all over during the 1980s and 1990s. While I'm sure that most of you watching are familiar with them, allow me to give a brief introduction for those who aren't. The projector works by lighting up the projection table and projecting the light to the wall or a screen behind the person operating it. Thus, the image is projected over the head of the operator, hence the name Overhead Projector. Or, since it has been mostly used by teachers in classrooms, the projected subject matter might also have flown over the head of many attending students. Anyhow, a bit more detail about the system later at the flip chart. Now, on to the project. My unit here is a portable one, which means it is designed to fit in a carry case, and that is a bit scratched up. The projector is folded down in the transport position. Oh, it comes with a spare lamp. Unfolding it. It's a bit on the large side. Framing might be difficult. Apologies up front. This projector comes with a roll of transparency. Not even slightly used. Just that somebody has painted a smiley face on it. The rest seems brand new. Let's start with the base. There is a block that holds the head unit and some electronics inside. My first goal is to separate the head from the base. There is a nylock nut inside that is hard to reach. Digging into the base block. There's a PCB in here. Oh, that lower section has a display behind it. VFD nonetheless. Might be a timer? Fancy. Whoops, that screw is now in the base plate. And removing the rest of the small bits inside that base unit block. The main switch is sitting in a bezel of sorts. Now to the base plate itself. The cover of one of the film rolls has some goo on it. Looks like somebody had glued stuff to it. I have seen similar residue from aged masking tape before. The side trim pieces won't budge. They are halfway loose but don't come off. Oh, the rubber feet. Those are holding on the side pieces, and they are not plugged but rather screwed in. Now the trim pieces move, at least one of them. The second half has a screw in the middle too. Now, the belt that is running over the film holder is what I would call a physical scroll bar. Oh, the spool is very explicitly a one-way construction. That way, the belt only drives each spool in one direction and free runs the other way. Removing the spool holders next. And there's a piece of steel instead of nuts. A magnet helps pulling that one out. The reflection plate is glued to the base plate. Darn. That reflector is actually a Fresnel design. While it is perfectly flat, it does provide quite a bit of zoom effect. Now on to the head unit. The arm comes out with a second screw. There is a bar in it to lock the lower part in the upright position, but it is also interlocked with the upper swivel. Oh, this unit has two lamps inside, one that is active and a spare one on standby. A slider on top shifts them over. No break if the light fails. I made sure to put away the lamps with a piece of paper towel. These lamps don't like to be touched. Removing the cable, both for cleaning and checking up on the grommets. The gray knob is for focusing. In this case, it moves the light and mirror parts in opposite directions. Now, this is a good point to explain how these things work. There are two basic designs, through light ones and reflective ones. Mine here is a reflective model, since portability requires a smaller form factor. The older, more common ones were through light. That means the light bulb is in the bottom and the table lights up from underneath. A Fresnel lens in the bottom part makes sure that the light is mostly directed to the head unit through the transparency. The head unit has one or two optical lenses and a mirror to flip the projection by 90 degrees. The head and mirror assembly is moved up and down to focus the image on the wall. A reflective unit has the light bulb on top and a mirror underneath the table. Thus, the light passes through the film twice. For regular film, that is not a problem, but I have seen LCD displays for these that say that they won't work with reflective ones. Not sure if that is true for all overhead LCDs, but I'm not getting one until I know. Disassembling the head unit. The lamp runs on 24 volts, so there is a beefy switch mode power supply in here. 250 watt at 24 volts is over 10 amps for the lamp. Also, there's a radial fan in here. I expect quite a bit of heat from that lamp. Ah, the lamp assembly comes out as a block. Good. And onto the focusing mechanism. One half of the knob comes out. The orange button is part of the interlock in the folding mechanism. It pushes and turns. Interesting. The sliding parts are essentially tiny drawer slides. Now to the mirror part. It has a projection lens and its frame is slightly singed. Did somebody light a fire here? The mirror is held in place with 2 screws. Note that it is an optical mirror, which means that the silver coating is on the top side and the glass is just the carrier. The mirror is missing a chunk. It seems that the projector has been bumped into something and the mounting screw chipped off that bit. Shouldn't be a problem, just annoying. The fan is loose. The shroud, mounting bracket and motor are held together with 2 screws, and both of them are wobbling. To tighten them, I need access, which means the fan has to come off. Allen keys do make some nice improvised punches with handles. And now, the light box. Oh wow, that bar is bent. How hard did that projector hit the floor? Now that is a lens. Interesting design. The micro switches on the rear are for the 2 lamps. Only one will light up. Weird designs. There is a resistor soldered across the switch contacts. Oh, there's a little lamp on the slider. The resistor must be for that. There is also a thermal cutout in here. If things get too hot, this should kill the lamp. The thermal cutout says 130 degrees on it. So quite hot until it kicks in. Better not touch any of the lamp parts. Cleanup time! A few rounds of glue solvent chemicals later, almost as good as new. Now back to the base plate. Turns out that a bit of WD-40 helps to dissolve the sticky tape. The plastic parts that have gone grey over time get a coat of plastic primer and fresh black paint. This is when I realized that focus knob should be one part. The squeeze section just broke off over time. And the beaten up base plate also gets a new coat of paint. Recapping! Yes, even here. That timer PCB is first. Next, the power supply. Three large and 3 small electrolytics, right in the middle of a high heat area. Can't hurt to get new ones. Cleaning the switches next. First the ones connected to the timer. And assembling that timer thingy again. I want to see what it does. Hooking it to the isolation transformer. Oh, it's a very simple timer indeed. You turn it on and it starts counting hours and minutes. The button next to it will manually advance slow or fast in case you start in the middle of your presentation. Nice little detail. Now to the main switch. Oi! So much soot, and people keep wondering why I open switches. Oof! Visually it cleaned up okay, but the contact plates were almost completely burned off. I'd rather replace this one. Oh, the power transistors should get a bit of new thermal paste too. and also straightening the bent parts. And starting the assembly process. Now, reflector, check. The lamp selector, making sure that the switches are actuated. And the cover with the lens completes this part. And again, my tools are almost fitting the task at paw. The spreader pliers wouldn't fit these clips at all, so I had to use the wrong ones in a rather clumsy manner. Humph! Lots of dust in there. And here we go with the base unit. The order of operations is a bit odd here. I had to refit the timer module several times. Things got tangled. The focusing knob. Step 1. Glue. Nope, not enough surface. Step 2. Melting. Also no, way too little material, and it is designed to be used as a pivot, so it flexes. Last option, melting a piece of wire into the plastic for reinforcement. And the film holders. Adding the feet. For the first test, I'll use the old tired switch, but I'm not clipping it in yet. Replacement is on its way. The back panel. There is a fuse holder and a pass-through socket. I assume for some tape recorder maybe. It's not switched, just fused. And here we have the spring-loaded part of the interlocked folding mechanism. Sproing! Whoops! And the new switch arrived. Same size and almost the same color too. This one has a neon indicator though. Mounting the fan shroud again. I'm adding a dab of thread locker too. Trying to understand the interlock of the upper elbow. There is an adjustment screw which will align the top unit parallel to the base plate. What I can't quite simulate here is the pushed state of the button, where the notch will go past the adjustment screw. One of the more complicated parts is to align the two racks for focusing. They should meet in the middle position for storage. You can see here that the interlock button also locks the focusing part in place when folding. So if any of these components are off, it will not fit into the case. Not strictly necessary, but I want it. The neutral indicator on the focus knob should line up when storing, so the teeth of the gear also need to line up. It's a smidge off, but that might be aging plastic. Moving on. And lastly, the spring in the knob needs to go in there too. Sproing. Whoops. Another one. And try number 2. Power socket, lamp interlock, blower, there's a piece of paper to direct the airflow. It gets some new double-sided tape. And after adding the power supply, the great moment is near. Here come the lamps. That weird pointy thing, I still have no idea what it is supposed to do. Prevent rattling as a strut against the mounting plate when folded. But if anybody has a better idea, please comment. Final step. The head unit needs to go onto the arm. That washer was a bit annoying to put in, but other than that, no issues. And after unfolding, power on! Whoa! Bright! And hot! I did clean the mirror. Now why is that lens burnt? Ah! And like the disassembly, the reassembly of the mirror was annoyingly slow. But eventually, it's in. The final part, attaching the Fresnel mirror again. I got some fresh double-sided tape. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into a somewhat odd technology. See you next time! The focusing knob. Knob? Not nub, knob.